All right. In this video, I'm just going to briefly show you what I mean by field notes. I was going to make this a little bit more polished. I even started making a little presentation. Then I just realized that probably what's best is to just show you this example in just of what they might look like of your own notes. Now, of course, you can take these by hand if you're in a physical context or an online context, but you're probably going to want to end up putting them um, into a Google Doc or a Word doc because you're going to need to put all of your field notes at the end of your papers. And you're going to want to also reference the number of the field note in the paper. And again, when you read the actual instructions for the paper, for example, this is the Cognitive Approaches to Learning paper. It will tell you kind of what you need to do, but you will need to reference a field note at some point. So I just wanted to give you an example of what this might look like, of what these field notes might look like. So if you're in a physical context, I totally just made this up off the top of my head from my own experiences being in a choir. So this context happens to be a choir. But when I say a part of the requirements for each paper is you need to have 20 field notes, and I'm not asking for much. This is considered one field note, okay? So I said, before rehearsal has started, the choir members are chatting quietly with each other. Most seem to be in chairs, but some are standing in small groups. So I'm just making observations of what I can actually see. Notice that I'm not saying that they're distracted or that I don't want to make any inferences. I don't want to make any, I don't want to put down what I think is happening. I just want to put down what I actually see. If you want to put down what you think is happening, maybe to kind of help you jog your memory, or maybe as you're thinking about writing the paper, maybe you write something about, for example, cognitive theory or sociocultural theory with one of these field notes, that's fine. I would probably just put that in like parentheses, you know, thoughts on connection to cognitive theory or something like that, right? Let's zoom into this just a little bit. So anyways, I just wanted you to be aware of that your main purpose with these field notes is you're just writing down what you can actually see, okay? What you can observe, what you notice, but not what you think is happening. Okay, so, I just kind of described this. Conductor starts rehearsals by playing some warm-up exercises, blah, blah, blah. You might include a picture or multiple pictures or maybe a video. Video is going to be obviously a lot harder, so I'm fine if you just do pictures. But just, again, something to kind of help show that also might jog your memory, but that also you might be able to point to kind of say, look at how they're organized, look at this kind of semicircle that they're in, and that they're in these rows, that sort of thing. You can describe it, but it also can really help to have a picture. So that is if you're in a physical context. These are some of the types of notes that you might see. And again, you'll have a link to this so you can look at this. And then if you're in an online context, this is what it might look like. Again, I just kind of picked a website and I tried to find some things that you might write down. In an online context, you're probably going to have a lot of screenshots. Those are going to be really helpful. A screenshot by itself can be a field note, but you probably don't want just screenshots. You're probably going to want to have a little bit more, or you might have a screenshot and then maybe some information right below it just to help you interpret that screenshot just a little bit more. So right here, I have a particular screenshot. And so a lot of my field notes have to do with this specific piece right here called The Prognosis, I Fear I'm Terminally Human by Scorch. So I say Scorch's record has 837 hearts, which you can see right here, and 39 comments, which you can see right here. And I give a link to that specific site and that specific record. It would be helpful if you add links in your field note examples for if you're using an online context. So then I say in the comments on Scorch's record, some people are making jokes, and I give some examples of what some of these interactions, some of these comments that people are making. Um, I note some interactions between the original poster, Scorch, and then other people. So this was one between Scorch and a person, username Toddley, and kind of an interaction there. There's another interaction between Scorch and somebody else. And so I'm just kind of noting some things that I'm noticing. I'm not making inferences. I'm not saying what I think is happening. I'm just noting what's happening. Now I could have done a screenshot with that as well, but these two items were separated by a few other comments. And so I just was noticing that this interaction. And so I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was interesting and might be helpful. So, and then here's just a couple others. And again, I'll post this up so you can kind of get a feel for what these might look like. And you can just do them in your own Google Doc. So if you have an online context, maybe look at the online context notes, but I would also look at the physical context field notes just so you can get a feel for it. And same with the physical context. Look at both sets of notes because that might help you as you're in your context and taking these field notes. Again, I'm not asking for very much with these field notes. A sentence, maybe two, maybe three sometimes, just depending. You're trying to capture that a moment with each field note. So you're just trying to capture a moment. And I think this hopefully will help you just get a feel for what these field notes are supposed to be. It's not a ton, but still something that will help you remember and see what happened in that site when you were observing.